Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, yesterday, near the end of the day, CLIA, the Cruise Line International Association, basically shut down all cruises for their organization, which represents about 95% of all cruise ships in the world. From every port in the United States is now shut down until September 15th. But oh man, there's a lot to read into this. So just yesterday, I did a report on how I think the United States might actually be the last country in the world to open up their cruise ports. And it has nothing to do with the cruise line or their safety procedures or anything like that. It comes down to 100% the organization they have to work with and get approval from the CDC. And I have plenty and plenty of examples of the CDC basically ignoring cruise lines right now, just not wanting to do with anything to do with cruise lines. Not only that, other organizations from around the world who are like the CDC for their particular countries have been working with the cruise lines and have come up with procedures for them, and many of them are preparing to start sailing as early as August. And some even wanted to do it in July, but they're going to spread it out. I'll do a video on those coming up in the next few days to give you some examples. But I just wanted to look, a lot of people I've been watching, all my friends, Tony and Jenny from La Lita Loca, I watch Cruise Tips TV, Sherry and Mr. Cruise Tips TV, are all covering this story about CLIA extending, obviously, there, and there's a lot of different reactions, right? Sherry had relief, very big disappointment that they can't get cruise. She's one of the people who wants to get out cruising like I am, and Tony and Jenny, and probably you are, that you want to get out on the cruise ships as fast as you can and as soon as you can. You're tired of not being able to cruising, or at least know when you can book a cruise safely and not have to worry about it being canceled. But she also said how it's a little bit of a relief for her that now there's a decision is out there. We don't have to think about, is August going? Is July going to go? When are they going to open up? Now it's everybody, not just one cruise line here and there. Every cruise line in North America now says September 15th. All the CLIA organization, Holland, Princess, Norwegian Cruise Line, Disney Cruise Line, Cunard, Princess, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, you name it, they're part of it, if they have any kind of presence in the cruising industry. And that includes river cruises. CLIA is the largest organization around the cruising industry. So let's go over this letter, because I found the letter very interesting, and I'm not feeling disappointed, and I'm not feeling frustrated. Well, I'm a little bit frustrated, as you can tell. I'm feeling more anger than anything, and not at the cruise lines, not at CLIA. I'm directing my anger directly at the CDC. And it almost looks like CLIA's doing the same thing. But their wording has to be more diplomatic, right? CLIA cannot just come out and say, the reason we're not cruising right now is because the CDC is refusing to work with us and we can't do this and we can't do that. They can't come out and say that, because CDC is about to decide whether they're going to extend the 100-day no sail order. So they just can't come blurting out and accuse them of anything. Do you think the CDC will give them any kind of permission to do anything after that? Or they will make the restrictions so severe that there's no way a cruise line can make their profit margin. You can only sail with 10% of people on your ships, and you have to have 125% full staff capacity. You can't have your pools open, you can't have your theaters open, you can't have your bars open, you can't have your specialty dining right. Go ahead and cruise. Yeah, who's going to sail? Let's be honest. So they can't get them angry. But let's just go over this letter. I have been to print out the copy right here. And yeah, I'm going to have to hold it out like a bit. So, Cruise Line International, CLIA, issued the following statements on today to announce that the Associated Ocean-Going Cruise Line members voluntarily extend the cruise operations from U.S. ports until the 15th of December 2020. Due to the ongoing situation with the U.S.-related COVID-19, CLIA membership cruise line has decided to voluntarily extend its period of suspended passenger operations. The current no-sail order, here's where we get interesting, issued by the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, will expire on the 24th of July. Keep that date in mind. It's still coming up, right? It's about a month away. And although we had hoped the cruise activity would resume soon as possible after that date, it is increasingly clear that more time will be needed to resolve the barriers to resumption in the United States. Resolve the barriers. It's not what they need to do on the ships. It's not getting better cleaning. It's not social distancing. It's not wearing masks. It's not coming up with fogging equipment. It's not new embarkation procedures. It's not new anything. It's the barriers the CDC are putting up to the cruise lines to do the cruising. Let's get that right out there and right clear. The cruise lines have been sending proposals. They've hired some of the best viral experts in the world to help them come up with solutions and safety procedures and sterilization procedures and emergency procedures for anything that happens on board. They presented it to the CDC, and the CDC has not even looked at them at all, not even mentioned them, not even come back with a response. So what are the cruise lines supposed to do? They can't defy the order by the CDC, because the CDC has the power to impound every ship they own and ban them for life if they wanted to. So yeah, they cannot just defy them. They can't do this, but they have put in their proposals. Norwegian has put in proposals, Princess Carnival, Royal Caribbean, everybody's put in proposals, and not a single reply has come back from the CDC. When was the last time you heard the CDC say anything about getting cruise lines restarted again? For God's sake, it almost took them 3 months to come up with that stupid red light, green light system that my granddaughter could have come up with in her kindergarten class on day one of asking them. Hey, how do you tell if a ship is going to be good? Well, if they haven't had any cases in the last month, then they would be green. If they have had cases, then they would be red. Oh, brilliant. It took them 3 months to come up with that. So, but I digress. Let's get into the rest of the letter. Although we are confident that the future cruises will be healthy and safe and will fully reflect the latest protective measures, and we also feel that it is appropriate to err on the side of caution to help ensure that the best interest of our passengers and the crew members, we have therefore decided to suspend our operations from U.S. ports until September 15th. The additional time will also allow us to consult with the CDC on measures that will be appropriate for the extended resumption of the cruise operations. Yeah, because like they haven't been trying already. So now they've told the world that they are ready to consult with the CDC and get things ready by the 15th. Every cruise line in North America is now saying that they are putting in proposals to the CDC. So now it's in the CDC's court. The ball's over there now, and they've given notice to the world, to all of the United States, saying, hey, we're ready. We have our proposals up there. We're putting them into the CDC, and it's up to them to help us clear and negotiate with us. And so if again, the CDC does, what they normally do, which is absolutely nothing, then it's on them. And they can point to that. And okay, let's go on. You can tell I'm getting a little angry as I read this. This voluntary suspension applies to all CLIA members, which the no-sail order applied to, with vessels that can carry 250 persons or more, which is basically every cruise ship, because that also includes crew members as well. CLIA member cruise lines will continually evaluate an evolving situation and make a determination as to whether a further extension is necessary. And that determination will be, will the CDC even help us? Will the CDC even work with the cruise lines at all? So here's one of my thoughts also on that whole situation is September 15th. What happens around September 15th? Well, the kids are back in school, if schools are reopened by then, so kids are going back to school, but it's also the changing of seasons. The seasons have now changed, and what happens? Because you're going from hot to cold and change the temperatures all the time, people start sneezing, coughing, catching colds, which will make it really hard to determine if somebody has the symptoms or not, because they're the exact same symptoms as having a cold, running a fever, the sniffles, runny nose, coughing, sneezing. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in September. In 2018, the cruise industry supported, and here's where they get into some financial numbers in case anyone was wondering, and this is aimed directly at the CDC. This is directly to let the people know of America exactly how many people the CDC is affecting by not doing their job, by not doing anything to help the cruise line industry get ready. Like if you can't even look at proposals and come back with any kind of solutions, you're not doing your job, because that's what your job is. So they come back with the cruise industry supported over 421,000 jobs in the United States, with every 30 cruisers from U.S. ports supporting one American job. And each day of suspension of the cruise operations in the U.S. results in a total loss of approximately $110 million of economic activity and up to 800 American jobs for every single day the cruise lines are not running in the United States. And then they say you can find out more at this website. So, as you can kind of see, the CDC, not the CLIA, has now band together. The cruise lines are now tired of sending in their proposal. Here's Royal Caribbean's proposal. CDC, you can here's our proposals. You can answer us. And then Carnival, here's our proposals. Anybody? Hello? Hello? I keep getting a busy signal every time I call the CDC. I can't get any answer from them. So they're tired of doing it individually now, and now they've gone to their cruise line association and said, okay, we're all shut down, every single one of us. And now we're all saying we're putting in our proposals to you. And now it's in your court. We're now working as one body. Cruise lines that are competitive with each other and fight for every customer that they have. And, one price goes this way, this they have to respond. One cruise line does this, this one has to beat it. They are now joined together and working together and telling the CDC, here's what we're doing, and now it's your turn to do something. The trouble is, the CDC has shown no interest in doing anything really for anybody out there. Really. When was the last time you heard anything from the CDC? I've been watching newscasts every day. I haven't heard a single thing from the CDC in months. When was the last time you heard them doing anything for the senior citizens' homes? No, I guess that's solved, right? I guess there's no more crisis in the senior citizens' homes. I guess no one else is getting, that's not the main place that everyone's getting sick anymore. Yes, it is. It's still 80% of the population is getting sick from senior citizens' homes. But you don't hear CLIA. You haven't heard nothing from them. Sorry, I keep saying CLIA. CDC. So it just goes to show CDC has now become a bureaucracy in its own right. It's not a political wing. It's not run by this government and this government, although there's government, of course each side is based on a political party, everybody who works there, so it can lean one way or the other, but they're affecting people's jobs and they're not doing their job to do it. And so movie theaters are opening. Haven't heard nothing from the CDC saying anything. Beaches are all opening. Haven't heard nothing from the CDC complaining about it. Theme parks are opening across the world. Resorts, casinos are all opening across the United States. Haven't heard nothing from the CDC saying, here's your guidelines of what you have to do. It's the hotels and everything coming up with their answers. So, and the theme parks have turned in their answers to the government, not the CDC. Did you notice Universal, Disney, they didn't turn it over to the CDC. They put their proposals out to the local governing body, and the governing body approved them to open. So, is that what the cruise lines are going to have to do? Are they going to have to go directly to the government and say, here's our proposals, and not the CDC? Maybe. But here's one of the big things that I found really interesting about this announcement. They've done the announcement before the CDC has had a chance to come out and extend their no sail order. So now, what does the CDC do? Because the cruise lines have already said, we're not sailing until September 15th. So is that no sail order really needed right now? Because they're not sailing. They've already told you they're not sailing. There will be no cruises going in and out of port. So now the pressure's on the CDC for the extended time. If they say, well, we're going to extend it to the 15th, well, now they look like they're just copying what the cruise lines are doing, and they're following the lead of the cruise lines instead of leading the cruise lines in the right direction and helping them out. If they extend it past the date of the cruise lines shut down, then they look like morons, more of a moron than they already do, because they have to give a reason why they have shut down everything, yet they can relieve casinos and theme parks and everybody else is opening up. You have to give a reason why you would go past that date. Or do you just not extend it? And now you have to actually do your job and work with the cruise lines to get open. So that's my thought process on this whole write-up. CLIA has served notice to everybody in the United States now that we've tried, and we have barriers and roadblocks. And basically, that if you want to read between the lines, even though the lines are this far apart so it's easy to read, it's the CDC that are the barrier. And now they put notice to the CDC that they have to come up with something by September 15th, or everybody will know that it's 100% them. 100% them. And they will have to give reasons, although they don't seem to be apparently interested in giving anybody reasons. They do anything right now. I don't understand. I don't understand how the people who are supposed to protect us and keep us safe in these things basically have gone silent and have not been saying anything while all this stuff is happening. Yet they seem to firmly believe that they have to keep the cruise lines shut down. Nothing else but the cruise lines. Well, that's my thought process. Thank you for allowing me to rant. I went off on this because I was going to do a video yesterday on it. And then I said, no, calm down, because if you think I'm mad today, you should have seen me yesterday when I first read that. Well, I hope you appreciate my take on this story. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.